Welcome back to the Finding Hope podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Bundy. I am so excited you are here and you are listening. I have so much amazing things planned for this month of December, and I cannot wait to kickstart it off. I literally am having a Christmas party December 1st because I wanted the full 25 days of Christmas and I wanted me and all of my friends celebrating as early as possible. So I'm so excited that you are here and I cannot wait to fill this Christmas season with hope, with joy, with abundance, with a sense of love and community as the holidays approach, because I know how much joy it brings me, and I hope that these episodes fill you with a piece of that. For this week's segment, it goes along with all things Christmas and holiday. I thought it would be such a cool idea to create a list of Christmas gifts that are actually affordable, because I know my family keeps getting bigger and bigger and my friend group just keeps growing and growing, and it's amazing and I love it, but it's expensive and things add up. So I am going to link a little list of a ton of different gift ideas that are all under $20. So that way you guys can find like budget friendly gifts and things during the holidays that are already there and you don't have to think about. If you want to go through that list or just even get ideas from it of what you could get people, I'm going to link it in this description for this episode. That brings me right into the topic of our episode. Whether you are going through some financial stress or social anxiety, anything where there might be some fear, we are going to be talking about faith over fear and how to navigate that this holiday season. I want us to explore how faith can serve as a source of strength and resilience in overcoming fears. With all of the holidays, I know it can be so amazing and great and joyous and all beautiful things. And that is what I want us to experience to the fullest and be thriving in that. And for that to happen, I don't want us to subconsciously be held back because of our fears and our anxieties and the things that are stressing us out along the way. With Christmas, I know that can put a lot of a financial stress on people, or all of the Christmas parties, the holiday parties, the work parties, all of that. It's a big expectation to be social. And a lot of times we don't get to necessarily choose who is at those social gatherings. And that can be very hard to not just go to once, but to have basically a whole month where you are stepping out of your comfort zone and you're meeting these social expectations and you're meeting these financial pressures of getting gifts for everybody. And maybe there's a fear that you're not meeting people's expectations in that. John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." Oh, this verse is just so beautiful. I know for me, peace is such a guiding light in my life. I know if any of you are listening that talk to me in real life, I talk about peace so much. And whenever I'm wrestling with things and I have all this anxiety, or I'm going back and forth and I feel very conflicted in my head of what should I do, or how do I navigate this? What do I do with these thoughts and emotions that I know probably aren't good? When I don't feel peace about it and it's been a significant amount of time, that's like my green light of, oh my gosh, God's not in this. Because peace comes from the Lord, and peace that is not for a moment, but peace that is everlasting. That's the peace that I'm searching for and seeking. And when I notice that that's absent in my life, that's like such a wake-up call of, oh my gosh, okay, that's basically my answer. Now I know how to navigate this situation. The way this verse says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you," meaning God's peace that he's leaving with us, the peace that the Lord is giving to us. I love that because there is such a difference of being at peace with things and being okay and getting through things. And whether that is a family thing, whether that's the social anxiety around these gatherings, whether it's the financial pressures, there's a big difference of, okay, great, I forced myself to go to that party, or I went to the work thing and I made it through it and I'll go to the next one. Or, okay, I have gifts for 3 people, I still have 10 more to shop for. There's a difference of just like pushing through and staying afloat versus actually having peace about it. Because peace is so beautiful and powerful. And the sense of peace, it's a calm. It's not this storm that's going on that you're just being tossed around in and you're getting through. No, you're actually like totally stable. The waters are calm. There's no waves. You are at such peace and stillness. And that is what this verse is talking about. He doesn't give us peace as the world gives us peace. His way of peace is what is that stillness, that calm, that comforter, that security. With everything that might be going on, trying to find moments to rest in his peace, rest in his presence. And that comes from faith. It is so hard to have peace when you don't believe that things are going to be okay. It's so hard to have peace when you don't feel like there's something to hope for or that there is faith behind your circumstances. I want to encourage you to believe for something better, to have the faith that God is walking this with you. He's going to see you through it, and he wants to give you his peace along the way. The next part of this verse says, do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. I love this because it kind of goes back to don't be anxious and then let's remove the fear and let's replace it with faith and with my peace. And so I don't know about you, but I know the holidays can sometimes bring up like a sense of fear, or just how it says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Your heart can feel kind of troubled if you don't have the things that you thought you'd have for Christmas. And whether that's gifts or it's a job or a relationship or a fiance, it can weigh your heart down in a way that doesn't feel good. And I know for me, I can kind of not ignore those things, but I just don't even notice those things that I might not have in my life throughout the rest of the year. But then when Christmas comes around, they kind of suddenly surface. And I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, I actually don't have that. And that makes my heart sad. That definitely weighs my heart down. It can kind of cause me some fear or some just loneliness. And I know I've talked about this previously, but during the holiday seasons, I can get really lonely. And I know the last like few Christmases, I would say at least 5, the last like 5 years, I through and through am the only person showing up in my family that is single. And I'm witnessing all the love around me, and it's great and it's beautiful, but it's not mine. And I usually don't notice those things when I'm gone and when it's not Christmas or when I'm home like for the summer. And not that I haven't been in relationships during some of those Christmas seasons, but none of them have managed to hop on that flight and show up at my doorstep like all the Hallmark movies made me think would happen. So whether I've actually been in a relationship or not, I am alone on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, just my family, seeing them all happily in love. And it's great and it's beautiful, but those things can definitely weigh my heart down. And I don't notice a lot of that when I'm living my normal lives. And this is obviously just like a silly example, but if you guys are in a place where you feel pressured from your family to be with somebody, or you feel pressured to get the promotion, you feel all these social pressures and anxieties that you might not notice throughout the year, it can definitely weigh your heart down when they do surface and it's brought to your attention, or people just have a negative response based on where you're at. And that can also be like, for me personally, I know whenever I go home, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but when I would go home, everyone would kind of be like, okay, so, well, what's all the things you've done? Or basically, give me your list of accomplishments so I can see if what you're doing by living somewhere else is actually worth it or not. And I hate that sort of a mindset. And I feel that pressure from a lot of people in my life whenever I go home of like, okay, well, show me the list of things to prove why you're doing what you're doing. And that can translate into so many things in life. But that expectation can definitely weigh my heart down and trouble my heart and cause me to be a little bit more fearful of maybe they're right. Maybe I should have more things on this checklist to prove why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I hope this verse just brings you a sense of hope, of knowing, hey, God understands that we experience these emotions. God understands we experience these pressures. God totally knows that the holidays might not be jolly 24/7. It might bring up some things that are uncomfortable to deal with. Yet he is wanting to leave us his peace, a peace that is not from this world. And he understands that with that can come some fear and some anxieties. And choosing faith over fear is going to help carry you through this in a way more enjoyable way. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the story of Mary and Martha from the Bible, but for those of you who aren't or would love a little refresher, I'm going to read it really quick. It starts in Luke chapter 10, and it says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. So, I know that was a lot. We're just going to kind of break things down real quick. Essentially, in this story, there are two sisters, Mary and Martha. And Martha is trying to prepare everything because Jesus, the Lord God of the earth, is coming or is there. And she wants everything to be perfect and prepare the house in the way or the meal in the way that is fitting and suitable. And Mary is just sort of like off in la la land, like, oh, I just want to sit at your feet. I just want to talk with you. Whatever needs to happen, like, I'm not that worried about. I'd rather just be with you and be present. And so I know that for me, when the holidays come, I can definitely be way more like Martha. And as much as I love my family and I love my friends and I love being so present, when there is a party I'm hosting or Christmas dinner, because at my house, usually I end up doing most of the cooking. When there's an expectation for things to be done, I feel so responsible to get them done perfectly and to get it done in a way where we're on time and everyone's happy and all the food is exactly the way that we had planned from the start, on and on and on. And so I can get really anxious and consumed with the things around me and less of who's around me. And I love this because Yes, those things, they are important. They're not bad to care about. However, when it does come to this Christmas season, it is so much better when you're not focused on the perfect gift, on the Christmas meal, on what you're bringing, on all of the things to prepare, but you are so much more focused on the people you are spending it with. And that is precious time. Those are the memories that are going to last. And those moments are what is going to make this season so much more joyful. And not letting the pressures of what is expected or what you feel expected, because in this story, Martha felt an expectation. God never placed that expectation on her. Jesus never said, hey, go prepare everything. I need it to be perfect before I come to you. That was an expectation she felt, that she thought in her mind. It wasn't the reality. It was just what she felt needed to happen. And so much of Christmas can kind of take away from the joy of it because of the things we think need to happen. And instead of being so present and thankful for where we are, and even myself when it comes to, not having the Hallmark Christmas movie live out in real life, that expectation in my head can leave me disappointed for what I end up experiencing. Versus those expectations aren't real. No one's putting that on me. And those things don't have to be put on you. So where you feel that there is this expectation and that expectation is causing stress and anxiety for you, or taking it a step further, the people around you, because hello, when you feel an expectation to be perfect in things, it brings other people stress. And my family will attest to this. I am not a fun human to be around when I'm stressed about putting everything together perfectly. If I don't have that expectation on myself, I am a way happier human, and I'm a way more loving, way more patient, way more understanding. I'm able to laugh at things instead of cry at things when they go wrong. So challenge yourself to be self-aware of, okay, who am I in this story? And not that you need to go an extreme route, one or the other, but recognizing, are these expectations just pressures I'm putting on myself? And even if they're not, if they're expectations other people are putting on me, is that more important than the time I'm going to be able to spend with these people? Whether those relationships are quality or not, you're going to have opportunities to sit with people and genuinely be present with them in conversations. And this is the time to do it, because we don't have all year where these parties or family gatherings are happening and it's expected and everyone's going to be there. These times are so special. And when we can be such a calm, peaceful presence, that will bring so much happiness, and that takes away so much fear. Because when you're able to let those expectations go, you don't have this fear of messing up. You don't have this fear that you didn't do it right. You don't have this fear that things aren't going to be ready. You have this faith that what is happening or what is going to happen is going to be better, and something that you can still find joy in. I usually give very practical steps on how to do this, XYZ. And the thing that I really want to leave you with, that I want you to press into for practicality, is prayer. Because faith doesn't just come out of thin air. It takes a lot. And I want to encourage you to pray. It takes faith to pray, but I want you to pray for faith. And pray for faith in all of these circumstances. Really push into presenting these requests and being mindful of your prayers. And if you're holding back, if you are dictating your prayers from a place of fear, and it can be easy to not ask God for the big things because we don't want to be disappointed. Or it can be easy to not bring certain fears and anxieties to God, because if He doesn't work in that area, then it's not fun to experience. But I want you to try to break those chains off and not view prayer as a transaction of, okay, if I do this, I'm going to get this. But I want you to view it as a means of growing your faith. Because when I have faith in people and I trust people, that's because I've talked with them. I've gotten to know them. I've spent so much time with them and they have shown me they're trustworthy. Therefore, I can put my faith in them to an extent. And if I have friends that are always early, they're always on time, I'm trusting and believing that they're going to be on time for me, or they're going to show up when they say they're going to show up. And I have faith that that's going to happen because I've gotten to know them. And I encourage you to use prayer as a way of getting to know God and having that conversation. And not holding back in your prayers, but praying boldly and praying for the things that you need more faith in. I always pray, like, God, I need a little bit more faith that you are going to work in this area in my life. Or I need more faith that you're going to provide for me financially so that I can get everybody these gifts. Or I'm praying that I get donated a bunch of things. Whatever that is, take it to God. And that builds that faith that overcomes those fears and those anxieties. Proverbs 12:25 says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." As we are continuing in this season, I want to emphasize how much your words matter. And anxiety is real. Yes, it weighs down our heart. But the fact that our words can literally cheer us up and can help our hearts is beautiful. And I want to encourage you to utilize that and utilize those words in a way that builds your faith as well. And utilize those words in a way that builds your faith in other people, whether that's your family and the way you speak to them of, hey, just encouraging them. I'm so excited to see you. I cannot wait to have all of these amazing conversations with you, to catch up, on and on and on. Uplifting them with your words and encouraging people throughout this time. It makes such a difference. I have no idea what somebody's going through. Nobody knows what I'm going through. And when someone shows kindness to me that I know personally or a stranger and they speak words over me that are so kind, it literally warms my heart and soul. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I cannot wait to continue this holiday season with you. I absolutely love all things Christmas. So have the most amazing week. Choose faith over fear. And I cannot wait to talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.